All right, good morning, everyone. It is Monday, June 16th. Fresh week. We're taking a look at NQ. We do have the contract roll upon us. So we're now on the U5 contract. Typically want to roll anytime the volume switches over. So when you have more volume in the next contract, that's when you want to complete the rollover. Now, typically that is going to be on Wednesday. But being that the market is closed on Thursday, not all that surprising to see it today. So I've gone ahead and rolled over the price points that we'll be talking about today and for the next quarter are going to be the U5 contract. So with that being said, we do have a gap higher this morning on NQ. Prices just shy of that prior day high. Let's take a look at that intraday. You can see the gap higher and almost into that prior day high. What is that? 71.5 area for NASDAQ. So this morning, what I'm going to be focused on is how price responds to that prior day high. Want to see if buyers are able to show the gap and go setup, or if this morning's going to be more of that gap and crap. Gap and crap. Gap and crap. So up above prior day high, we do have the 100 level of interest, and then up into 200. As of right now, this continues to be near-term range trading. Price continues within the near-term range. We did see on Friday that gap lower, big test of the key pivot right through there that you can see that blue zone. Higher time frame pivot, buyer step into defend, and we get a pretty nice rally on Friday. Some good two-way trading on Friday. Last night, right back into that zone, and pretty much a rally during the overnight sesh. So pretty straightforward. 2 minutes till the open. So far, we're seeing a little bit of a rejection here. We do have last week's volume point of control right in this area, right near that prior day high. And then if we look at the current structure, you're going to see all the volume concentrated up in this area as well. So if we're treating this whole thing like a range, basically new range, then what is this? Well, this is going to be mid-range, right? Current location is mid-range. Now, considering price most recently came from the range low, you would expect that if the range is going to continue to trade as a range, the range high would be tested. Now, I have no crystal ball, so whether or not that actually pans out is yet to be seen. But there's the thought there. As of right now, about 1 minute till the open, NQ is getting into the 22K level of interest. I'll be paying a little bit less attention to the volume this week, considering we do have the contract roll. Volume's not going to be super reliable. Overnight volume point of control, extended hours volume point of control up here at 43. Prior day volume point of control down at 967. There's the open. Take a look at the gap. A little rally right off the open. NQ coming into overnight high right here. Through the overnight high. Here's prior day high. Into prior day high. That was a nice push. Nice push there off the open. So again, prior day high, main focus for this morning. See how this area is going to be treated. You have ES into the 6075 level of interest. And here comes the 100 level of interest. Good volume this morning. Perfect test of the level of interest. Little rejection there. Gotta love levels of interest, man. Undefeated. Opening 5-minute bar still has 2 minutes here. Rich, yeah, you may be on the wrong contract there. Want to double check that. So prior day high stays as the main focus. NQ rolling over, ES back into 75. NQ getting into that session volume point of control again. A little churn here. Some indecision near that prior day high. See if we get a little more clarity here. ES into session highs. Held the 75 level of interest. Nice little bounce there. No position personally. See what the other indices are doing here. Russell near session lows coming into VWAP. YM up near the overnight high as well. Buyers looking for a lift through 75. Tricky when that prior day high, right above it, you have that level of interest. Little tricky. There we go. NASDAQ coming back into session highs. 100. Upside level of interest. Did what I could there. Made the most of it. I'm gonna wait for price to leave this little area now before trying it again. First trade, I want to see that thing go immediately. So that hence the very tight trail you can see there. And then trade two, you can have a bit more patience with it. The structure's there. Just looking for a break of the 75 area. Resolves higher, cut it into the level of interest. Now I wait. Now I wait. Not a big fan of, like I said earlier, not a big fan of when the reference points lead to bump it into a level of interest. Levels of interest have more significance than reference points in my system. So not going to be the best opportunity there. Not all setups are created equally. So best case scenario for me right now is break above the 22,100 level of interest and then some market structure above that point would be phenomenal. Scale down in that area. It's a good call, Ray. Good call. It's a shortened week with FOMC and then contract roll. So definitely not the week to be a hero or to be putting on extra risk, in my opinion. If you trade ES, keep an eye on that 75, still holding pretty nicely. See, there's a better scenario when the level of interest is beneath the reference point and you can actually set risk against the level of interest. At least that's my preference right there. I would say volume extremely low, but it's contract roll week, so it's not going to be a super reliable signal. Looks like NQ with a new high of day. ES coming into prior day high as well. 15 minutes into the open, pretty slow so far outside of that opening drive push. I mean, even NQ is showing some little intraday gaps here, byproduct of the contract roll, right? So staying patient, staying cautious. FOMC Wednesday, market close Thursday. Friday's probably going to be dead. NQ cannot sustain above 100 there, back in a prior day high. There's overnight high. Staying patient. Don't really want to grab risk in this area again. Already tried it twice. ES, that 75 has been paying all morning. No positions there. There it really goes. ES up into 88, up into 89. NQ, new high of day. Any of you guys long for that? Surely someone was. Surely one of yous. Dave, Rich, nice. Mish. Nicole got the ES. Nice. Like that one. Like that one better than NQ. How wide is this range here? 60 points. It's all right. It's all right. Still just with the 2 NQ scalps this morning. Still just a 2 for 2. The levels work nicely. I just didn't love the action there. Wasn't loving it. So it's the beauty of being a trader. You have a choice. You do have a choice. NQ new highs. That's contract roll week for you right there. $200 upside level. Fresh highs, fresh highs, fresh highs. 200 is your upside level if you're still riding. Getting there. Not too far off of that upside level now. So the gap and go idea panned out nicely. Gap rules should have kept you out of any shorts, hopefully. Paired with the backdrop. The Thursday to Friday gap fill is complete here. Unfilled gap right through there. We have about 1 minute till 10 a.m. No data this morning. Let's do a quick poll, see how everyone's doing. See how the morning is. Poll in the chat. Let me know how the day is. Fresh highs again. Non-stop new highs. Post 10 a.m. now. So looking at either 200 or 100, need a level of interest at this point. ES is up into the 100 level of interest. Beautiful push there. Much better in action in ES today. Yeah, there's a back adjusted chart. Back adjusted or non-back adjusted is trader preference. I like it personally. Like to have that continuous chart on the screen. Some traders don't like it because they want to see the contract gap. I just like simplicity. I just want it to all be as simple as I can make it. Trading will be as complex or as simple as you make it. The challenge with simplicity is that I think the human mind just kind of gravitates towards more complex things because it feels smarter. And if something is simple, then there's no way that it can work, especially when we're dealing with something like financial markets. But as you get more and more skilled, more and more years in the game, you realize that simplicity really is where it's at. This has been a slow morning here on my end. We got about 25 points via two scalps and NQ. So at this stage, I either want to see a retest into the 100, maybe with some market structure there. You have the 50% fib right in that area as well. Or we'll be looking for action up and above 200. But either way, either of those scenarios, I need a level of interest for before getting involved again. Let's see. Meanwhile, you have Russell bumping into prior day high, YM up and through prior day high, ES, of course, bumping into that upside 100 level of interest. A little bit more churn up here. See how this next 15-minute bar closes up in about 5 minutes. There's your shallow fib, 23% fib. Buyers right back in at that shallow fib so far. There's your new high of day. Let's see how that 200 is going to be treated. Getting in there. Slow Monday. At least on my end. Slow Monday. All right, here we go. Getting into the 200 NQ new high of day. Don't let boredom give cash back. Never. Never, never, never. Those days are behind us. Boredom trades? No, sir. I'm probably going to give this 10 more minutes, see if we get another setup. Like watching paint dry right here. Speaking of paint. uh, Surely you're done painting by now, Ray. There's just no way you're still going. There's no way, man. NQ, new highs. Paint man. Yeah, Ray, I stopped trying to decipher that a long time ago. If I need to know anything, Mish just relays it to me as my translator. It bridges the gap. No gap fill here, yeah. It's actually a good call. All right, here's my morning. Looks pretty silly. That's what we were talking about last week with the conviction. Location, spot on. Obviously, that structure was solid. NQ continued to push, but limited conviction in that area at the time. That's part of the game right there. Part of the game. So, like I said, waiting to see this next 30-minute candle closure. See if we get a setup. NQ new high of day. Here's the 200 level of interest. All right, I think we call it there. I think we call it right there. What I'm going to be looking for the rest of the day is either some extension, nice extension move up and away from this 200, something like this gives you a retest. That could be a valid entry, or find me down here near 22,100. As of right now, just two little scalps on the morning, 25 points on NQ. May as well be a cash day. Did not love the action down there. Thought it was a little bit sloppy, but good to see that the analysis, the idea was spot on. How you judge that is, based on where you wanted to enter or where you did enter. Did price actually resolve higher at some point? And in this case, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. So trade idea was strong. Didn't have the conviction to hold on. It's part of the game. It's real life trading for you. It is what it is. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank here, but I have low expectations for today and the rest of this week. It is a holiday week, it is contract roll week, and it is FOMC. So if we just take 25 NQ points on the day, you know what? That's fine. That is fine. So I hope you guys had a good morning. Thanks for your time today, and we will see